Well, hello, everybody. You're very welcome along to Leeds Bros, and this is your starting 11 show. Leeds United take on West Ham United this Friday night at Ellan Road. Feels like a massive game for the Whites after back-to-back Premier League defeats against Tottenham Hotspur and Burnley. Feels like a really big game for Leeds United. Daniel Farke seems to be under a bit of pressure as well from a section of the fan base. So a win, I feel like, will just get rid of all that negativity that seems to be surrounding the club at the minute. Throughout the course of this show, guys, I'm going to bring you through my starting 11 that I think Daniel Farke should pick against West Ham United. And then it'll be over to you guys in the comment section below to let me know who you think should start and whether you agree or disagree with my starting 11. As always, guys, please make sure you're dropping a like on the video. It really does help us out. And, of course, we would love you to hit that subscribe button as well. So let's get into it, and let's start off with the goalkeeper first. And I'm going to go for a bit of a change in goals, and I might surprise a couple of people that have been watching the starting 11 show since we've started it. I've been a real fan of Karl Darlow. Really do like him as a goalkeeper. But Lucas Perry was brought in the summer to be our number one goalkeeper. £17 million from Lyon. We obviously know the quality that he has as a goalkeeper. But I think this coincides with Leeds United leaking 6 goals in the last 3 games. Not necessarily Karl Darlow's fault, but I feel like this Leeds side really does need a massive shake-up. Feels like it's gone a little bit stale at the minute, and obviously Karl Darlow's been brilliant for us. He's been a brilliant deputy while Lucas Perry's been out, but now that he's back and he's fit, I think he should be our number one, so I would bring him back in for this game. Let's move on then to our defenders then. So our back four, Jayden Bogle and Gabby Goodmunson, they pick themselves, don't they? They've been absolutely brilliant, the two of them this season. You can argue with Bogle, obviously the miss that he had against Burnley the weekend. We all know he should be putting it away, and I'm sure he knows that himself. The Brav kid did put him under a little bit of pressure, but look, he still should be putting the ball in the back of the net from there. And look, I don't think Bogle is doing bad enough to bring James Justin in. Similar then to Gabby Goodmunson on the left-hand side. I actually thought he was probably one of our best players on the pitch against Burnley. He was getting up and down that wing, trying to make things happen, getting ball in the box. And I do think, defensive-wise as well, I do think he is a very good defender as well. So, yeah, I don't think there's any surprise there with the full back positions. Let's move in then to our central defenders. So we'll start with Joe Rodon first. And look, he's Rolls Royce for me. I've been so vocal about Joe Rodon. He's had a fantastic season. And I do think he'll probably benefit with a bit of a change in there beside him. So I'm going to go with Jacoby All for this game. We obviously hear from Daniel Farke in his press conference that Pascal Struijk and Ethan Ampadu are struggling a little bit with illness. They have missed a couple of training sessions. But I think even if Pascal Struijk was fit, guys, I think a change in there is needed. I backed Pascal Struijk before the Burnley game because I don't think against Spurs he was as bad as what people were making out to be. But I don't think against Burnley he covered themselves in any glory. I thought he was really poor, to be honest with you. I thought he was below par. So I think Bial has to come in there for a change. I'm hoping we don't see the same performance from Bial what we seen against Sheffield Wednesday, because he didn't really give me any confidence in that game. And look, they were all below par in that game. Totally understandable. New starting 11 playing with each other, etc. Did watch Bial over the international break as well, playing for Slovenia. It looks like a really tough, solid defender, so we could benefit with that in there against West Ham United. So for me, he starts this game, coincides with Pascal Struijk with me and his dip in performance. Let's move on then to the midfield. And again, might be a little bit of a surprise in here, but we'll go through it first. I think Ethan Ampadu does start this game, even though Farke said he's obviously under the weather a little bit at the minute. I think Ethan Ampadu is one of them players to Farke that even if his leg is hanging off, I think he's going to start games of football. So I do think Ethan Ampadu starts this game. Alongside him then, Sean Longstaff. Look, we did see a bit of a drop-off from Longstaff against Burnley. It wasn't drastic, wasn't horrendous. I just think he really set the bar very high in them couple of games. We got our player of the month, but you're not dropping him for this game for me. So Longstaff goes in beside Ethan Ampadu. And then the change I am making in midfield, it's Anton Stack. He has to come out. He was really poor against Burnley, lads. Really poor. And I hate banishing players. I really do. But he was terrible against Burnley. Probably the worst player on the pitch for me. You know, Daniel Farke touched on his press conference today. He was asked about Stack's performance over the last 2 games in particular, and he admitted that he's been below par, but he also said that he has been playing with a broken finger and he's been carrying a couple of injuries, a knock to the ribs and stuff like that. So it felt like Farke was trying to cover for Anton Stack a little bit, but really that made me point the finger at Daniel Farke that if you knew that Anton Stack was carrying these injuries and wasn't 100%, why were you picking him in the starting lineup when you had out Tanaka sitting on the bench chomping at the bit? Why wasn't he starting games of football instead of Anton Stack, who clearly hasn't been at it and clearly isn't fit enough then to be in the starting 11? So a bit disappointed with Daniel Farke there with that one. I don't know if any of you kind of read into that, or maybe I'm reading into it a little bit too much. But I feel like if Anton Stack wasn't fit enough to start games, he shouldn't have been, and it should have been out Tanaka. But yeah, he's been below par for me, so I want Tanaka back in for this game. We know the quality out Tanaka has. He hasn't really got any run of it in the Premier League, so I'd like to see him come in against West Ham United and pull that shirt back and show that he's fighting for this place. And then you're hoping that gives a little bit of a kick up a hole to Anton Stack as well to get himself sorted out and bring them performance levels back up as well. Let's move on then to our front three as well. And this is probably going to divide opinion, guys, but I'm more or less going with what we hear from Daniel Farke's press conference that Noah Okafor and Willie Gnonto are both progressing, but they have missed a couple of training sessions as well. So that tells me they're not going to be fully fit. And I've kind of erred on the side of caution with this one that they aren't going to be fit for this game. If they're fit, they come straight in for me, but because they're not, I'm going to leave them out of this one, and hopefully they are. Look, at 100%, I hope they're fit for this game, but I'm going to err on the side of caution with this one. So I'm going to start on the right-hand side, and I think you have to bring Dan James in for this one. I know he is only back from injury. He only got about 10-15 minutes against Burnley, but I thought he did look threatening down that right-hand side. I really liked it in the Championship, him and Jayden Bogle synergy down the right-hand side. I thought they were really good together, and I want to see more of that as well. So I even think if you could get 45 minutes out of Dan James and possibly an hour if he could push it a little bit, I think it's worth starting for him this game. And then if it's not going well or you want to shake it up, then you can change it around there. But I think he has to start the game for me against West Ham, solely because I just do not want to see that starting wingers of Jack Harrison and Brendan Aronson ever again for Leeds United. It was horrendous. Against Burnley, it was well below par and probably against one of the worst sides in the league. So if it hasn't worked against them, it's not going to work any better against any better opposition. So for me, Dan James starts on the right-hand side. Then probably a surprise and one that I don't really want to go with, but we kind of have to where we're at the minute. I would move Brendan Aronson out to the left-hand side just because I don't think Dan James could play on the left. So I'd move Brendan Aronson out there. Look, he does a job. We know what we get from Brendan Aronson. No real quality going forward, but does the dirty side of things. Now, I can't stress this enough. If Noah Okafor is fit, he starts the game 100%. I'm not saying if Okafor is fit, he sits on the bench and Brendan Aronson has to start ahead of him. If he is fit, he starts the game for me, and I would love to go with the wingers of Dan James on the right and Noah Okafor on the left, and then you've Calvert-Lewin up front as well. So that's what I'm kind of looking at what Daniel Farke could possibly go with as well. I don't think he's going to deviate from the 4-3-3 as much as I want him to. If I was picking this, I would go with the 3-5-2 and get your width from Jayden Bogle and Gabby Goodmunson. And I'd like to see us getting someone in and around Calvert-Lewin a little bit more, because I do feel like he's been isolated in the last couple of games. His hold of play is fantastic, but if you're a lone striker up there and you're trying to hold off 2 or 3 defenders, it ain't going to work for you, is it? So I'd like to see us get a couple of bodies in and around Calvert-Lewin a little bit more, but I just don't think Daniel Farke is going to change it. He's going to stick to the 4-3-3, so I'm trying to stick with the formation that I know he's going to go with and kind of pick my starting 11 around that. So yeah, let us know what you think, guys, in the comment section below. As I said, I feel like it's a massive game for Leeds United, this one. Personally, I'm putting it down as a must-win. I've already seen some people saying the draw wouldn't be the worst result. It wouldn't be, but we need to start picking up points now. We really do. We've had the good performances. We've had the bad performance against Burnley and a really bad defeat. And I think the only thing that matters for me on Friday night, and I'm saying it here now, I would take an absolutely stinking performance and Leeds United win the game 1-0, because it's all about points in this. And there's obviously a lot of negativity as well floating around the fan base at the minute. So I'm hoping Leeds United get the win and we can get away from all this negativity. And Ellan Road plays a massive factor in that on Friday night. But that is it for me, guys. And that is it for your starting 11 show. Now it's over to you guys in the comment section below. Let me know whether you agree or disagree with me, and we'll have a conversation about it. So that is it for me, guys. Mind yourselves. Mind each other. We'll catch you in the next one.